Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, whatever is the occasion for that you may be watching this video and everything. My name is Roy Harris. I'm the unofficial line of what we call the block, downtown Asheville. Notice I said unofficial because I've titled myself, and so being the unofficial line of the block. We have a collaboration between the YMI and Leaf Global Arts, which is across from each other. And so this collaboration is to have people to come in and tell their stories about, the general theme is being black in Asheville or Western North Carolina. And we're gonna have guests that are coming by, but we're gonna have fun. We're gonna take this to another level. So our first guest in this session is better known as Bobby Sax. And Bobby Sax, you probably have heard his music, or if you're not, you have probably seen him hear his music all over, especially downtown Asheville, playing at occasion. And sometimes you walk out of an event and there he is at that event playing music as people walk out. We're going to ask him some questions, and he's going to tell us about himself and in his own way, in his own words, and then we'll go from there. So my first sort of the lead into this is Robert Hughes, to be proper with you. Mr. Robert Hughes, who's better known as Bobby Sax. Can I call you Bobby, or should I call you Robert?
Bobby is really, a lot of people just really just say Sax.
Okay.
Here, you know, in Asheville, that's what I picked up since I've been here, rather than Bobby. Some call me Bobby, but a lot Sax, that's all.
Okay. As we go forward, I want you to tell me something about yourself.
Okay.
Asheville, but I also want you to, when you finish this part of the interview, I want you to tell me something that I don't know about you.
All right. Okay.
So tell me something about yourself, who you are and where you come from.
Bobby Sax is a guy who's been into the music business for quite some time. I would say, call myself, I've won some and I've lost some, especially the financial gain of being a musician by starting off by not knowing about the business.
Okay.
I was started in Washington, D.C., and I just happened to meet some black guys in the ghetto who didn't read that much, but tremendous, great musicians. And to try to make this story kind of short, I signed a contract with a small company out of Baltimore, Maryland called Rujak Records, and called myself having a manager. And I cut a record there for them, and the managers and everything just took me to the cleaners. I knew nothing.
Okay.
The record went #1 there in DC, #1 in Baltimore, #1 in Richmond, and no telling what other place it went to. But later on I found out, after I had lost that money, I left and went into Detroit, and I came back and I talked to a white guy there who ran record stores all over Washington, D.C., and I just happened to just drop by there to talk to him, and I found out that it had gone even farther than that. RCA wanted to come in and buy this record, and they didn't sell it to them, and I was crushed in my first dealing with this music business, you know.
Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about where you were born. I want you to throw put your parents in there too, and your brothers and sisters.
Well, I was born in Monroe, North Carolina, which is 25 miles east of Charlotte. And I had two wonderful parents, and I just happened to just was listening to music on the radio all the time, and they went together and got me this saxophone. You know, I had parents that we weren't poor, but well enough to keep my clothes clean and get things what I wanted there. But Monroe is just a little small town, and after I graduated, I left there, and I returned back after a certain amount of years, but have been living in different places. Washington, D.C., I stayed there for 15 years, broke down in Washington, D.C., and went to Detroit, Michigan. And I landed up here. I came back home after my mother caught cancer, and I stayed home for about 10 years, and I played with Maurice Williams. Okay. And then I came here to Asheville, and I've been here for 17 years.
Well, we've got you from Monroe, Washington, D.C., Detroit, Chicago.
Detroit was, I would say, a big change in my life because I got something, what I would call an education about the business.
Okay.
I played for Marvin Gaye for a short time there. Then I played for a group called the Floaters, who had a national hit. And a big thing about them, while I was out there with them, I fronted for them in Carnegie Hall. I fronted for them in the Superdome in New Orleans, which was the biggest audience I ever have played for. It was, say, 80,000 people in the Superdome. That was
watch out, country boy playing before 80,000.
80,000. No star, but they made me feel that way because the ones who were the stars and stuff, they gave me a shot, and everything went quite well. I was well accepted there on the stage, and they recognized that, you know. And that was one of my two biggest moments. It wasn't the money now that I think about it. It was just doing something that large that is stayed on my mind and makes me feel good. I may never get all the money, but I feel at peace within myself with what I have done.
Well, let's get you to Western North Carolina, in particular Asheville. And I want you to start off by telling me what it's like being black in Asheville or Western North Carolina. A lot of folks come here and they say, oh, I'm out of here. There's not enough. So
well,
you still here, so.
Yes, being black in North Carolina, when I first came here, I found out very quickly by being black, the color that I am, it was a thing of going through the color here. But I'm finding a hard way to explain it because I found out that it was, the whites were better to me than the blacks.
Okay.
My color, because I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for whites, because I've been robbed by my brothers and sisters here, and I also found it hard dealing with some white people. You know, I had a hard time with the police force because of my color. It was coming down very heavy on me. One time I wanted to leave.
Tell me, what is your favorite place to play in Asheville as a buster? Where's your favorite spot?
I tell you, my favorite spot. Well, I played Biltmore State, but on the street, I would pick Haywood Street first. Right there where that 5 and 10 is, right there where the people sit out, right at the corner of College and Haywood.
Right.
There. And one of my favorite spots is also Mass General Store on Biltmore.
Well, we ought to get you a star. Have you put you a star at that point and said Bobby Sax played here, and I know what you're talking about. Is I think they put a little symbol there which says that the buskers can play here. That's one of the spots they have.
Well, I'm hoping for one thing. This is, I guess, between you and I and this interview. I'm just hoping. I pulled my heart out here with my music for people. I play for the kids. I play for the teenagers. I play for babies.
Well, get ready because I'm going to ask you to play something for your mother. Just play something in her memory.
Okay, that's no problem.
Right.
This moment, I'm going to say that I'm not going to go gospel. I'm going to just be myself. I'm going to play something that I know that she would love.
This is for Mom.
Yes.
With reparation in Asheville, protests in Asheville, and in fact, Asheville is on the map for one of those cities in the United States of America that has protests. And I understand that there may be one coming up tomorrow. Pandemic, and the pandemic is the virus and how it has affected all of us personally, citywide, even places that we may live or our households and everything. So how has it affected you? Talking about the pandemic, the virus, how has it affected you?
As I say, the thing is, it hurt me real bad financially this year when it happened. I have had the best jobs, I guess, because of me actually starting this busking thing is by playing for the tourist baseball team.
Right.
Okay, that is a big financial deep thing that really hurt me. I also had the spotlight there at the Civic Center. All of those are big events, and I was making good money, no doubt about that, you know.
Let me ask you a question, a reparation question. If someone gave you 40 acres and a mule today, what will you do with the 40 acres and a mule?
40 acres and a mule. So let me put that under my cap here for a few minutes. Well, okay, I'm gonna give it to you straight like this. 40 acres and a mule.
Right.
I was selling both of them.
Sell both of them, okay.
The mule and the 40 acres, because I'm no farm boy. Ever since I left my home in Monroe, I've always liked city life.
This question that I'm about to ask you now is sort of open-ended. you get to talk about either the past,
Uh-huh.
the present,
Uh-huh.
or the future. Your choice. If you want to talk about something in the past, if you want to talk about something that's going on now, personally, or you can talk about what you see in the future.
Well,
Pick one of them. Pick one of them. Like, do you want to talk about the past? Do you want to talk about the present? Or do you want to talk about the future?
well, I'll say talk about the past here for the 17 years that I've been here. The things of gaining new friends, new people. It took me quite some time to get into that of learning people around here, how they do, you know, how they, some of the things that they do, how they do them. I saw a person, a black person here, I forget his name, who was trying to be like a promoter, promote shows, you know, at the beginning. And I thought that was good because you could use somebody around here as a promoter of a city that's an up-and-coming city, especially like Asheville.
Well, we're coming to an end of this interview, and I want to say that personally, I've gained a lot. You're my new friend. I've seen you around town a number of years playing, like you said, at the Civic Center in front of Woolworth store and downtown and everything. I wish you continued success, and I wish you continued good health, so that you can keep blessing the city of Asheville and the citizens of Asheville, tourists, whatever. One last question I want to ask you is there anything that you want to add to this? Anything you want to say as we finish this interview?
Yes, I say that the people, it's not the money, but they have given me an inspiration, a spirit to keep playing because of the way that they react to my playing and my music. I was living at the Vanderbilt one day and I was out just practicing in the garage. And this lady, I always said it, got it in my head that she didn't care that much for me, but she was okay. And I was playing Amazing Grace, just practicing. And the next day, she told me, she said, I was feeling bad yesterday until you played Amazing Grace. And she said, after you played Amazing Grace, I felt better. That's what I kept, and I held on to that in my heart to know. And people always say, hey, you sound good. You really sound good. Well, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this song is for all of us. If we listen to it and listen to what he's about to play, we've been blessed with Bobby Sax being in Asheville all of these years. Bye.